of this conversation. And so, as a facilitator of the principles and as someone who really took hold of the message when it landed in my lap, I wanted to bring this conversation to anybody and everybody who wanted to hear it, who would be able to access conversations of global leaders and of people that are just part of our own community, which you'll see and hear today. So, my name is Kelly Mabel, and this is Kind Mind Academy, and I'm so happy to be here. And I look forward to some of the things that we're going to unfold today. And I was saying to some of the people that are part of my community, my immediate community, where I work with business women and with people building and starting businesses and creating community and relationships for themselves, that this was my first live conversation. That I am sort of a person that's sort of been always putting the light on others and sort of hanging in the background, even though when you facilitate your forward and present, I wasn't really doing it globally. And I have to be honest, I had a lot of thinking about that. There was a lot of stuff going on in my head around what this could look like. And all week long as this was coming, I realized about 2 weeks ago that when I had canceled, because I believe in Family Day and I believe in celebrating everybody's connections to family especially during COVID, that there wouldn't be a speaker on the Monday. And then I took a look at the dates and realized that this was an anniversary for me. So I thought I'll start there in the conversation, and then we'll see where it unfolds. I was showing the girls that we mind map conversations, and this is my map today, which is 3 points. Where are you from? And the logistics of keeping your microphone off when other people are speaking. Raise your hand, please, so that we can acknowledge you when you want to say something. And the last part is my topic, and the rest I'm going to leave up to wisdom. So yesterday when I was planning, I thought, what do I really want to talk about? And some of my thinking was getting caught up in comparison. And I realized, there's been a lot of amazing speakers that have gone before. And I thought of what somebody had said earlier in Barbara Patterson's class, which was comparison is the robbery of joy. And so I decided that I would leave all that aside and I would just be in the moment with you all. And so today what I'd like to talk about is relationships. And the relationship that I've had with all of you, and the relationship that I can see each of us can have with the understanding of how the mind works, how the quality and state of mind work, and just what that looks like. And so it begins with the connection I had with myself and the date of April 6th, which was the anniversary of last year when on May 15th, in my mind, correct me if I'm wrong, all heck broke loose in the world and we became isolated and in our own spaces, and the pandemic was thriving its way through community after community. And somewhere in March, I thought, well, my job has gone out the window. I would have known as my regular work, which is beautifying amazing people. As a hairdresser and someone who has designed beautiful styles of a different sort rather than the mind, I was designing different styles of hair and beautification. And as I was doing that, I realized that was no longer available to me. It was my part-time work, yet it was still paying my way. And so something inside of me said, this is the time for something different. And I was out having an exercise, and I was across the way at my property where I live here in a small community. And I was coming home, finishing my workout, feeling really good. The sun was out, and there was this inner calling that said, go back and do a video. And I was like, I laughed. I was like, yeah, no. First off, I don't do videos. Secondly, it was saying live. And I was like, where is this even coming from? So I just ignored it and kept walking. And it came again. Go back and do the video. Go back and do a live video. And I was just like, yeah, that's not happening. It's just not happening. And so 3 more steps, and it was not going to let it go. And I looked back at the road, and I looked back at, and I'm halfway home now. And something said, no, you got to go back. So I went back. And I stood over the train bridge, which is the Sky Train, and I grabbed my phone and I said, so, with every word that would be taking myself, would anybody kind of like to maybe you would like to maybe, I don't know, be a part of something, with me? If you want, in that type of language. And it was so non-committal, but I was doing it. I was there live on Facebook saying, maybe kind of if. And what happened was 17 people instantly said yes. And out of the 17, I was only looking for 12, and 4 of them were men and the rest were women. And I thought, well, I'm going to go with the first 12. And those first 12 turned into the most beautiful adventure that this girl could ever have imagined. And those 12 decided to lean into what I was offering for not only the first 6 weeks, which I did as complimentary, but for 24 weeks they were with me. And in that experience, I just kept the adventure going. And so that goes to the understanding I shared with, the relationship to self. How often do we look at that? That place where we have this person, this self. And my relationship to self is very spirited, and it had a lot of criticism and judgment. And it held a lot of overthinking about who I need to be and what I need to do. And I haven't overcome that necessarily, but it's become from this to somewhere like this, just saying hello every once in a while. And this year up to today was an experience of Kelly playing in the Kelly playground, of who she is, and some of the internal dialogue from data, sound ground data of education, and then also some playground in the principles. And so for those of you who are joining the conversation for the first time, where this all began was back in 2015 when I decided to go back to school and take an education. And back then, I was looking for something different. I was caught up in my thinking. I was arguing and fighting with myself around there had to be more. And I was outside myself in conflict and wasn't really at peace. And so I decided to go to India, looking outside myself for something different. And I went to India, and lo and behold, other than it being the most beautiful trip ever, I met a woman who did coaching. And before you know it, I was signed up and in like Flynn. And 2 years later, I had my credentialing, and I had facilitations, and I was working a job for a large corporate company. And I was full of imposter syndrome. Full of the place where I had no idea who I was. No idea. And I was so feeling all my thinking and misunderstood. And so I decided to look somewhere else at the time, and I looked at another form, which was the principles. And how it came to me was I was in the middle of Joshua Tree Desert down in California, and I had just spent a week in an experiential camp coaching and supporting 200 to, I think it was 350 individuals in learning how to face fear, work courage, find resilience, And we were driving out, my partner and I was listening to Michael Neal. No, I didn't know Michael Neal from the anything. I didn't know he was one of the leaders in this progressive thought of the mind. Yet Michael Neal was sharing a little story about maps of the mind, movies of the mind. And what happened was he shared the story about a man, an actor, who was in a movie. And the actor was so engaged in the role and so caught up in the movie that his wife was getting really concerned. And he was invested and he was studying and becoming part of the character. And it was a war movie. It was a movie where he was taking on the persona of a fighter and a warrior of the time. And lo and behold, the movie of the mind, the illusion became the truth. And he began to believe he was actually in that role. And he started to take the role on in his physicality. And he started to take the movie on. And before you know it, he landed himself in the hospital. And when he woke up after having a heart attack, his wife looked at him and said, "Honey, it's just a movie. It was just a movie." And the point Michael was making as the sun was going down on that long road back from California in the middle of Joshua Tree was that the illusion of the movies that we make in our mind can really feel real. They can really feel like their truth in the moment. There's a place where we feel that experience is fully meant to be lived. And when we grab hold of it, then we're living that experience as if it is ours, as if it is true. And for this particular actor, he didn't know where the movie started or stopped until his body, his physical form, needed to show him. And so oftentimes, when I see the relationship to myself, when I see the space that is available to me in relationship to myself, I ask myself, is it true? Is it true? Is it shaping what is my world in the best way? Is it creating the experience that will move me to a place that's even more? Not more as in more things, more material, more effort, but as in more seeing what is really true within me. And holding that space for what is my internal essence, that place where I get to see with truth my own path, my own way, rather than what may be laid upon me in the moment. And so making the movie of the mind, we get to choose. And so fast forward from that place with Michael Neal, as I was working in the college, I realized there was something missing for me. The coaching college was offering me a lot of experience and I was getting so much knowledge, yet I was realizing there was something really missing. And what was missing was a place that I could be me, past the systemic understanding of a program or systems, just having what I call winging it with wisdom. I love to do that. That's kind of the place that I feel best, where I'm just open to wisdom in the moment and not really worried about the outcome or what other people think or how it's going to be, and yet still understanding there's a direction I'm going. And so I got to a place where I had committed to myself, to the relationship to myself. And then I was looking for a connection with other people. And that connection began when I started listening to some of the originals. Sid, and started with Sid, and then Elsie, and then Jamie. And the originals are the people that began the three principles, but more so, I was listening for who I am. Where am I going? What am I doing? And what's important to me? So I found myself sort of switching the dialogue from what do they think? What's important to them? How can I do it better for them? To what's important for me? And so that commitment to self became a little larger the more I listened and the longer I stayed the way. And then what happened was I began to see something different. I started letting go all of the self-judgment and criticism and questioning and doubt. And I started to get full of, how can I? What's possible? Where's my creative potential? Where can I live in a space that feels really comfortable for me? So that created a bigger connection, a greater connection for me. And then when I was more connected, I became more still. And the more still I became, the more I saw. And so as I was working the programs down at the college, I realized that I was getting into conflict. I was getting into a place that wasn't serving me. And so one day, 4 years into the contract, 3 years into the principles and the listening, I had attended the beautiful school at Salt Spring with Elsie and Jan Chipman. I started really taking a place of understanding and pause for myself. And I started realizing that there was just so much more out there for me to see. And so I was having some conflict with one of the instructors who had invited me to be her teacher's assistant at the college. And I realized that while I was working with all of the participants, I seemed to feel very engaged. But while I was working with the instructor, I felt sort of pressed upon. And when I took a look at what my feelings were saying, I realized I wasn't thinking love in the moment. I wasn't thinking how I could support this woman. I was thinking more against the experience than I was for the experience. And so I took a walk outside, and Granville Island, where I work, is beautiful because it's on the water. It's a little island, and there's lots of very beautiful boats and ships. And I asked myself in a moment of pause, what would Source, Divine, Wisdom do in this moment? Because I knew I was doing everything I could and it was coming up short. And what Wisdom did was guide me to love. And in that moment, the message of put some love on everything, Kelly, came. And after a little cry, I walked back in and I walked right over to the instructor and I said, you know what, I just have not been putting love on this. And I need to rearrange my thinking. Now, I want you to know that this situation was pivotal for me. Because at that point, I wanted to walk out. I wanted to leave. I wanted to tell that company more than I could have. And I was in an argument around self. But I realized that I had had enough of an understanding of love within me that I wasn't seeing it right. I wasn't seeing this human being in their full nature. I wasn't seeing the circumstance in its full nature. And so I took that moment, I walked over to her, I grabbed her two hands, and I just said that. I am not putting enough love on this, and I really, really want to. And she hugged me and squeezed me. And in that moment, I became an international facilitator for one of the largest coaching companies globally. And she gave me, in that moment, my very first facilitation that I had trained for 4 years. And she not only gave me my first facilitation, but she gave me the full classroom for the entire closing of a 4-day education. So if that was what putting love on something meant, I was taking it. And so in that moment, I got an opportunity that I would have never had, because actually when I was out on that dock, 50% of me was saying, just quit, just get over this. This is, the value of what I'd been getting wasn't there for me anymore. But what I realized in that very insightful moment was I wasn't seeing it. And so I share that because that was the next step. My first step was creating a relationship with myself, in staying the way in conversation with all of the global leaders that you have all heard for the last 3 months. My second step was connecting enough to myself that I could see others in a different light. Ones that I may have not been able to see the misunderstanding of my own thinking. And in that moment of insight, I saw that it had nothing to do with anyone else but me. It was my thinking creating an experience in front of me that wasn't working. The feeling was awful. And so in rearranging the misunderstanding in my mind, I was able to bring so much love to that experience and change my entire exit. And yes, it was an exit. In that moment of love, what I realized was I could bring all the love I needed to this. And I realized that this was the last moment for me in that experience of working for that company. And so that ended my time with the global company. And now it became a time, well, what are you going to do now? What's up now? Where are you going? And so I never really said goodbye. I said, until next time. Until next time. But I knew in my heart that the principles were just taking me. And so then it became an internal exploration of more seeing, more misunderstandings, more friends, conversations, conflicts, more seeing, more love, and finding my way to new experiences with new people. Which brings me to what this is, which is what I call the cause. And so the movies of my mind started to fall away slowly but surely. And I started to see the cause. The cause of, what do you want to bring? Who do you want to be with? And what is this cause? What do you want to do? And so fast forward, after a lot of life being a seeker, and I'm a lifelong learner, I don't think I'll ever stop seeking. There was a place where my wisdom started to speak to me, because rather than seeking outside myself for the answer, I started looking within. And by looking within, that meant I didn't, sit there staring at my physical self. But what I started to do was read and get it still and find the pause. I call the pause, I began to be present and aware, utilizing source energy. I became present and aware, utilizing source energy. And that pause was profound. That pause was a place where everything in me got still. And that's where I found the love. And so the cause became what we are now, which is this community. Small and mighty, large and strong, whatever it is and whatever call we're in. One person, one conversation at a time, 2 conversations, 3 conversations, whatever it is, it just continues to grow. And I have no idea where it's growing to, but I'm willing to come to this room over and over again, experiencing you and support you in your cause, support you in the understanding of your wisdom, where you're going and what you can offer. And so what I'd like to do with all of you today is something different. I'd like to share with you that the state of mind is what I've begun to see is where everybody begins the journey that I took. And this is just in my understanding. But I realized that the quality of my mind, the state of my mind, my hand's on the handle. My hand is turning that wheel. My hand is guiding me. And when I come to something in a revved up state of mind, a place that's uncertain to me, a place that's busy or in a speed of overwhelm, possibly a place where you have misunderstanding or an emotion that really isn't supporting a beautiful vibration between others and yourself. When I come to anything like that, or I share with my practitioners and they come in anything like that, that all the training and understanding that I ever had or they might have had is gone. Because that state of mind doesn't hold the space for understanding. The understanding state of mind, quality of mind, is a place that I'm on the gear shift. And I got my hand on that light switch, if you will. And so what I saw was whenever, even this call, I took some time out and I spoke to my inner essence and connected to the divine oneness of all things for me and asked to be the conduit of information. Because I certainly am not here to direct you anywhere. I'm not here to teach or educate, but I'm in the experience of holding space for where your handle wants to go and where the quality of your mind is at any one moment. And so when I came to this conversation, I showed you my mind map because I just didn't know where it was going to go. And for a while there, I was sitting there, okay, give me the download. I'm ready. Hit me with it. I'm good. And then I'm in the shower. I took a moment out in stillness. It's like, okay, anytime. But the state of mind I was in was all revved up for what was to come. I wasn't open for the experience. I was anticipating the knowledge. And lo and behold, you can imagine it wasn't available. It wasn't there. It wasn't there because I wasn't there in the experience. And so this is the well of being I'm talking to. That well of being within you. And I'd like to take a little journey into the well of being if you'd like to come along with me. And it's going to be a place where we haven't done this before. but it's something that's fond to my heart, and beautiful people in this room offer this experience to their participants and their souls, their beautiful souls. And I feel compelled to do this today, and this is what's landed for me in the moment. So if you'd like to come along for a gentle journey, internal journey, then I'd love to have you with me. And so this place would be what I call feathering your nest. So for those of you who know what that looks like, it just means getting comfortable and knowing that this is a safe place to be still and to see something different, possibly something new. And I'm going to guide us through an experience of walking through the internal. And if you'd like to join me, please do so. And I'm going to say that we'll settle in and we'll find our comfortable space. And often you'll see me if you're watching me, or if you're just going to close your own personal eyes, or if you feel better leaning back or closing your eyes, whatever is best for you. But feather your nest for a journey within. And often I close my eyes, and often I'll get still. And I just want to check with everybody, is this tonality okay? Am I loud enough for everybody? Terrific. Okay. So as you feather your nest for this journey within, the body is the most reliable guide to your wisdom. Whereas thought can be ever moving, the physical form is always in the now. The body never doubts itself, as it knows with certainty truth. And this truth can guide you to the most evolutionary choices and to beautiful places. Listening to your body's signals in the now. It's speaking to you now. There is valuable information to gather. Clues that will guide you. Greater happiness that is possible. In physical stillness of the mind and the body, there is a feeling. Become aware of your feeling in this moment, right now. Your body is reminded of its natural state. Harmony. This can create a grounding, an opening to peace. Take a moment. Bring your hands together and interlock your fingers for just a moment. And place your open hands with your thumbs up across your heart. This mudra, in yogic understanding, embodies unshakable trust. As we walk inward on this journey, see more of your wisdom. Trust the essence of you. As you lay your hands to rest and pause, Imagine laying down all of your understanding of judgment. Just lay it down. Imagine laying down all of your identity, your labels, the isms. Just lay them down. Imagine laying down any opinions or judgments of self, as if you can just lay them down. See yourself, the being, the essence of you. Take a step into a beautiful forest. There where you see a trail, a path meandering into an enchanting, luscious, colorful forest. Witness the small details. The moss, the beams of light, intersecting with the old growth. Walk along the path. Notice ahead an animal of sorts. As you bring your being, the being of the love that you are, this animal approaches the same with love and gentleness. This animal has a message just for you. Welcome the animal, the spirit sent in this moment. Reach out to touch, feeling its energy under your fingertips. Connect to that physical form of you and it. This animal shares a message just for you. As you listen with all parts of yourself, gently thank this beautiful spirit and bid its farewell. Turning about with your message in heart, find yourself at a grand door. Grab hold of its glorious handle and push it wide open to view the expansive ballroom, one with a beautiful chair just for you. Taking in all the exquisites of the room, you approach the chair, witnessing its design and shape, stepping into its seat. You find much comfort here. It is your seat. Feel the fit of it. feel its texture and comfort. As you take a breath, as if that breath can go from your toes to your head and back again. In this moment, this calm moment, say hello to yourself. Who is listening? Who is speaking? Witness the seat of the soul. You and your own essence together. Take a moment here. Feel that essence within you. As you head out one step at a time from the beautiful chair, the seat of the soul, close the grand door behind you. Feeling the sun on your face, you see an opening to a warm sandy beach. Find your way to the water and bask. Bask your essence there. Walking gently along, you see something sticking out of the sand. It's an instrument. You dust it off. You can see exactly why you found it. It's meant for you. Carrying it alongside, you notice as you walk an obstacle far greater than you, greater than maybe all of your thinking, or maybe not. What to do? How to get past? You feel the other side. You see where you want to go. There is a tree waiting, calling your name. Take a moment. What does wisdom say you need to do? How might you move past? As you see more, you find your way on the other side. Feeling your own ability. Wisdom has guided you through. And there is the tree. It's calling you to come lay by. Its branches capture your curiosity. It is different and unique in some way. Swaying in the gentle wind, you lay aside its roots, bore from the Mother Earth. You feel your way into the curvature. This is the tree of life, and it's here to support you. It feels all of your essence. There is a divine light that casts through its leaves. You may call this spirit, or oneness, or God, creative, or source. This essence has you. It's calling all of you. What are you hearing from this tree of life? Listen and feel. Feel and listen. Thank the energy for coming. Thank the divine, the light, the understanding of more wisdom through the tree of life. Take your message. There is no rush. There is no hurry as you come back to the room. Wisdom has a way of guiding us, and all we need to know is within. And so I wonder, my thought is to have you experience sharing with each other, because we're all from different places, and seeing what you got, and then come back to the room, because I would love the community to share. And because we're a smaller group, I think there's time for each one of us to share who we are and what we're doing and how we're supporting ourselves as we move through COVID and business and relationships and community. So I'm going to just give us an opportunity to do that. There we go. And so enjoy. Hi, Gurjeet. Part of a breakout and experience each other and what you heard or saw. Yeah, Rachel, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I was in a breakout room all by myself, and I thought, well, this is kind of nice, because I could kind of wake up and thought, okay, maybe I'm meant to be by myself. That's okay. And then I was able to join in with three others, and it was so relaxing. And I kept kind of almost nodding off, but didn't. and I thought, I think I'm going to go to sleep, but I didn't. And it was really, really calming. And oh, I'm from Surrey, British Columbia. My name is Ray Jones Lisarenko. Yeah, I feel so relaxed.
Beautiful.
And yeah, was
Would you like to share what wisdom had to share with you?
oh, my wisdom was that just being present and really visualizing everything that you said and being open to it and just allowing. It was just a really nice feeling. Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah, I liked it.
Can I ask you what your animal was?
My animal was a lion.
Whoa. Beautiful. Who else would like to share?
I can share.
Yeah, please, Natasha. Thank you.
Hey, um, I met some lovely people in the breakout room, but I was absolutely so chilled out. I found it hard to even open my mouth because the feeling that I was sitting in was glorious, and still with me now with your beautiful voice, Kelly, and your lovely way. But even before you did the guided wisdom, I don't know what you want to call that, but I fell asleep, and I feel a bit annoyed. Not annoyed, but just as you said about an animal, I think I fell asleep for a bit. But then I woke up, and then I heard my message just at that moment, which was just trust, nothing to do. There's nothing for me to do. Just trust. Which was, yeah,
Beautiful.
which was the message which I get.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Trust is I think my starting ground, being able to trust myself. Yeah. Thank you. Would anybody else like to share?
I'll share.
Please.
Oh, Meg, do you want to go first?
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So first of all, I wanted to share, Kelly, that the conversation in my head this morning. I gave myself the day off. Was no, I don't want to listen to anything. I just really want to be in quiet. And then I pushed the button, and I came on, and I'm really happy that I'm here. So thank you for doing this. It's lovely. And this journey was beautiful. I had a squirrel that brought me a nut, and I was like, "Why? What's the deal?" And he was standing on his, two legs, handing me this nut. And eventually, there was a gold. There was a gold in the middle of the nut, and I got it. And then when we got to the room, the chair was actually a bench. It had beautiful bright velvet, fabric. And I noticed that there was no back. And I asked him, when you said a chair, and I was like, this is just a bench. But that was enough. And I felt really supported, because the thought was, oh, there's no back, I won't be feeling supported. And then suddenly the bench started floating, and I was flying.
Oh, wow.
And it was just, what an experience of really like seeing everything from above and really being light, light as weight, and light as as the sun.
Mm-hmm.
It was glimmering, and it was just beautiful, and I felt so good. I didn't want to come back. It was just But then the other thing is when you said about like going to the beach, and that was the original plan, is me going to the beach, and I was like, oh, I'm on the beach anyways, even though I'm in my kitchen, I'm still on the beach. It doesn't matter. And so thank you for that. It was lovely.
Oh, I'm so glad. So glad. Thank you for sharing those insights that your wisdom guided you through. I just love it. And for actually having compassion for yourself to come. That's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much for sharing. Meg, do you want to share?
Sure. Thank you, Kelly. And hi to everyone. I'm from Coquitlam in BC. And Kelly, something that I would just love to acknowledge is something that you had said when you were sharing. And it was, where can I live in a place that is comfortable for me? And I think that is such a potent question. Where do I land? Where do I find that place of comfort, of wholeness? And that's where we find our belonging.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just a beautiful question. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I had the pleasure of being in a breakout room with Brenda and Sharon, and all of us were expressing the wisdom that lives in our body and listening to what it's telling us. And Brenda took us through a beautiful visualization of all the cherry blossoms in Vancouver right now that kind of dove us right into this place of exquisite beauty and love. And I was sharing with them that in the shower this morning, I looked down at the soap dish, and there's a bar of soap I've been using, and it was a rectangular, fairly thick bar of soap. Been using it for a while, and it's getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And I looked at it this morning, and it actually had morphed itself into a heart. And it was just one of those, whoa, I have no explanation for this, no rationalization or understanding of it, but it was just like this beautiful gift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was a great way to start the day in terms of what you speak of, Kelly, about seeing love.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Your hands molded that love, Meg.
Yeah. Without my mind being aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
It just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that came to me in your beautiful meditation, Kelly, was the words, dive into softness. And the deer, or the animal that came to me, was the softness of the deer. And the almost this image of a deer coming through the forest with that incredible softness, where almost like you don't hear the deer walking at all. And so the deer is not disturbing any of the energy in the field that the deer is walking in. Mm-hmm. And the chair that I was sitting in had actually quite a tall back, and it was that feeling of, in our softness comes this profound strength that rises up through us as we settle into the softness. And then the last piece that I'll share was the obstacle was death. And the awareness that there is death at the end of every breath. And so again, that reminder not to be attached or to hold on to anything. Mm-hmm. Just to continually be living that process of letting go. Mm-hmm. And diving into the softness.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful unfolding. Meg, I have a question. Mm-hmm. What was your instrument?
My instrument was a flute.
Flute, okay. Mm-hmm. I just asked because no one has mentioned that yet, and I say that because an instrument is not always musical. I've had people tell me that their instrument was scissors. Their instrument was a conductor's wand. So it's a beautiful thing. Thank you for sharing. I love the flute. Beautiful unfolding. Would anybody else like to share? Yeah, Sandra.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Sandra. I am in outside Vancouver right now. And I had two animals show up during the visualization. So the first one was a deer as well, representing a lot of tenderness. And I reached out for its, to smell me, and it licked my hand. And I was in the forest, and when I looked to my left, there was, this is a common animal I see. It was a very large golden cobra. No, it wasn't scary, but it was a very strong presence. So, and the message was the duality of transformation. Is there's this fierce groundedness in the snake, and then there's also this gentle tenderness with the deer. So finding that within myself as I continuously transform. And then I went into a golden ballroom on a white horse, which was very majestic. And and then I sat in a beautiful, large golden throne. It's like there's a lot of regal energy right now in this meditation. And two instruments appeared again. So there's a common theme here of a duality. The first one was a clarinet. I picked it up, and I heard the music coming through. And then I took another step, and then there was a drum, like a hand drum. And I started to hear a heartbeat, and that was really, really cool. And the obstacle was like I was going to the sky.
Can you do that again, Sandra? You just froze for a minute.
Settled into my tree of life, which shared with me about the stillness as I felt its bark around me.
We just missed your obstacle. What was it?
Yeah, sorry. I realized my internet is dodgy here.
That's okay.
My obstacle was a bunch of stairs in the sky.
Oh, okay. Stairs in the sky.
Stairway to heaven, maybe? I don't know.
Okay. I want to share, thank you, Sandra, for sharing. I want to share with everybody that the experience is that your wisdom guides you through all things, to see all things, to experience all things, and more importantly, to overcome things. So the reason for the obstacle is to see that no matter what's in front of you, there's always an overcoming, something different. And it's very serendipitous that Meg spoke to the understanding of death, because on the other side of death was the tree of life. And so that's one of the reasons why the obstacle comes before the tree, because sometimes that's the experience. Go ahead, Brenda, please.
Yeah, I had a joyous room with Sharon and Meg, and the thing that came to me most was the deer, but there was also, and this was a human appeared. It was, I'm not sure of gender, but within the hands was a rifle, a gun, and the gun was down and on the ground, and it was like, lay them down, lay the weapons down. And that's a very powerful message to me. It's like, let it that time is now to put that, come from peace, come from peace. And yeah, just it's sort of coming through as I experience and listening. Everybody's like, I'm walking my own path through that. It's like, wow. Yeah.
Beautiful. May you go in peace, my friend.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to share? And if not, what I'd like to do, just with this short period of time we have left, is to honor each one of you in community, which is one of the reasons why I put this call together. And that would be just a place for you to share with all of us who you are and what you do, and how you are moving the principles through yourself. Just a little bit of a stage or light, and it's by choice. So that it just allows everybody in the room to see who's here and to see how we can connect better together. So I'd love Philip to start, just because he's going to share. Would you be kind enough to lead the way?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Philip, and my sort of normal job is to be a technical leader in the IT business. I have my own little company, and I work as a consultant for my customers. So I've been doing that a long time, and I enjoy that. Well, I will tell my story next time. But the short story is, a couple of years ago, I thought maybe life should be a little bit easier. And then I stumbled upon the principles, and I think it was like 2.5 years that I didn't understand anything except, intellectually. But then I signed up for a coaching course, and I got my deeper insights into the principles. And then I think it was a couple of months after that the course ended. Me and my friend Niklas, we were talking, and we said, maybe we should do something together, because it's fun to meet each other, and we need some kind of excuse to get some time together. And then we just decided like that, well, we should start a podcast. So we did that, and now we have recorded about 28 episodes, I think, since November last year. And one of my favorite ones is, of course, the one with Kelly.
Yeah. It was fabulous doing that. If you guys get a chance, have a listen. They're just fun. I've never done one before, and I loved it. Slowing down to the speed of love.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and we welcome you next week. For all of you here, Philip and Nicholas will be our speakers next week. So we look forward to it. Thank you for opening. Who's next? Who'd like to share? I know that Sandra can't talk, but Hannah, do you want to share? Lovely to have you.
Hi, I don't know if you can see me. It's quite dark here. I'm in Sweden, Stockholm, and it's like 7 o'clock at night here. So
Lovely.
Yeah, it's nice to be here, and thank you. I got really calm. So thank you very much, everyone, for making this space, especially you, Kelly. And I just wanted to share that I heard about the 3 principles 2 years ago, and it's made my life a better place. And I think my thoughts calmed down maybe 80% or something like that. So I'm still looking to see through the 20% that is left. That's why I'm here, I think. And then I would love to share this with the world. And I'm working with the women that have sex and love addiction. So I have the opportunity to do that. So I'm here to try to see more for myself, and to be in the conversation, and to be calm. And yeah.
Beautiful.
So thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you for sharing. And I'm going to suggest that anybody who would like to put their information in the chat so that the people can connect in the room, please feel free to do so. I'm happy to do that. And thank you, Hannah, for sharing and stepping up. I call this, rather than on the spot, I call it in the moment because it takes the energy off it. Who else would like to share? Tracy, do you want to share? You haven't said, you've been quiet this morning, Tracy.
Well, in full disclosure, right in the middle of that lovely experience, my daughter came in to make breakfast. So I had to move rooms right at the point where I was meeting my animal. But I picked it back up in the room with my comfy chair and quite enjoyed it. And for me, the wisdom was calmness, which I'm always focused and seeking. So I'm not surprised. And I just loved how Hannah talked about how she has managed to quiet her brain 80%. Like me too, for sure. That's been my goal. And I feel the same way. I own a very, very busy insurance agency here in Coquitlam, where I live. And we work at a crazy pace. And we're very busy. Even through COVID, we have been even more busy because we remained open most of the time, with protocols and distance and all those safe things. But not being in a phone queue versus being able to deal with somebody on the phone or face to face has kept us crazy busy. So I was one of Kelly's originals in that group she talked about. I'm so grateful. I'm her very, very good friend. And I'm so grateful that I did that because it was life-changing for me. And so thanks, Kel. Today's been great.
Thanks, Tracy. Thank you so much. Would anybody else like to step into the limelight, shine a little light on who they are, what they're working on, what they're building? Meg, would you like to share your work?
Sure, Kelly, thank you. I had the honor of sharing a walk with Kelly some time back, and just exploring life. And one of the things that came out of me as we were walking along by a lake was I turned to you, Kelly, and I said, Kelly, I just want to love.
Yeah.
That's my life. That's it. There's nothing more. And so when I think about the question, what is it that I do? That's all that it actually comes down to, is to be in that place where everything that comes through me comes from that place. And then that recognition, that awareness, when I catch myself and I realize, ooh, it's not coming from there. It's coming from someplace else. It's coming from that thinking. It's coming from habitual patterns. It's coming from wounds. And just to stop and to reorient myself. So in the external world of doing, I'd say that, and I can't remember, Kelly, who it was, but one of the speakers that you had on, and she just touched my heart because she introduced herself first and foremost as a grandmother.
Linda Pettit.
Yes, Linda, thank you. Thank you. And so I've taken a little page out of Linda's book because I just love that. So I will introduce myself. I'm actually called Nanny to two of my little grandbabes, and they light up my life, and they are great teachers of love to me. And then the work that I take out into the world is as a celebrant, having the honor of being able to meet people who are wanting to commit to their love and writing wedding ceremonies and marrying them. I just received a request the other day to hop into a helicopter outside of Whistler and to land on a glacier outside of Pemberton to perform a wedding ceremony. So that's
awesome.
What do you wear, footwear, on a glacier? That one I have to figure out. That's a new one. Yes, and then along with that, just supporting people in whatever way I can as a celebrant, be it all spectrums of life. And I also have, I'm a yoga nidra facilitator, and I have a page on Facebook called Still Point Yoga Nidra Meditation, and we meet every Thursday night at 7:30 for an hour, and I guide you into that place of love, that place of deep stillness and peace within you. And then I also work with clients one-on-one with that, or group settings.
And that's the beautiful Meg.
Thank you, Kelly.
I haven't forgot that conversation of love either. Actually, it was probably one of the pivotal moments of our relationship that changed the way I see how I think and act with regards to everything. Putting a lot of love on it. Yeah. Thank you, Meg. Margareta, would you like to share Love Your Life Guide with everybody?
Sure. My name is Małgorzata, and I live in Abbotsford, British Columbia. I'm originally from Poland, so close to Philip. And my business is Love Your Life Guide. It's working with women to fall in love with themselves first, and then at this moment, I'm taking people through the passion test. It's the test you cannot fail. It's helping you to find 5 most important things in your life at this moment in your life, and take some steps and see what happens. And with this meditation, like I think I was sleeping. I fell asleep in case meditation was so soothing, and then what is so funny, I was thinking a lot. Like, you know me, I think too much, I overthink things, and like I was thinking, animal, okay, what animal I don't see an animal. So I was like talking to myself. And they're like, oh, bird, oh yeah, I went for a walk last time and I saw birds. Or like, okay, so I have an animal. So like, overthinking, like not relaxing or falling asleep. So it's like, and then when we got to the tree, and it was the same with the instrument. I'm like, what instrument was? And then my friend is trying to play ukulele, like this ukulele. I don't know the name. And probably this is fine. Okay, I found the So like, overthinking, like relaxing, and then when I relaxed, I felt like lots of green light surrounding me. So yeah, so it was interesting. Interesting that I was overthinking, like, and me, I think too much.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing that, because I think that other people in the room have the same experience, in the sense that there can be times when we're just not in that space. We're just sitting here going, okay, well, this is just Kelly doing a meditation, or wherever we are. So thank you for sharing that. And there is no, as you said, no passing, no right or wrong, just the experience of seeing something new. Thanks for sharing, Margareta.
Thanks.
We've got time for one more before we close the class today. Would anybody else like to share what you do, what you're offering?
I can say something. Oh, go, Visual. Go.
You go ahead, Natasha. Go ahead.
You sure? It's just something that came to me that I always, for about 25 years, wanted to run women's groups. I didn't know what that meant, but I wanted to run a women's group. And I've had so much thinking for all this time until last November. I just got really quiet, and I was sitting in my garden, and it was something you said earlier, Kelly, and within something said, go make a video. And I made a video of myself gardening, and literally within 2 minutes I'd called my group something, named it, sent it, and I've been running it. It's actually now called the Well of Wisdom. I've been running it since November, just once a month. It's free because I coach in corporate, and it all came together within 2 minutes. And I wanted to do that for 20 years. And it just astounded me. And even when I watched the video back, I was like, oh, maybe I should do that again and put some makeup on or do something. And it was like, but I'd lose the complete essence of what came through.
Yeah.
What came through in that moment was just everything. So I just felt compelled to share that because, wow, you know, something that I'd had so much thinking about. And I love it. And it's fun. And it's just that, and sorry, Philip, I think you're the only man on here. I am going to run a man's one, but I don't want to alienate. But it was just something that I just want women to show up in that moment how they are. No masks, nothing else but how you show up in that moment. And what's been coming through is just the support and love.
Yeah.
A bit what Meg was saying, just love. It's where it comes from. And it is all based on 3 Ps, but I never talk about it. No one even knows that. And it's not a secret. It's just, it hasn't unfolded like that.
Yeah.
So I just want to share that. I love doing it.
I love you for sharing that that it's just unfolded like that.
Yeah.
Because it's not always about 3 principles for most people that are facilitating. They're facilitating their heart message or their, like you said, corporate coaching or something. It's not always the message of 3 principles. Thank you, Natasha. Don't you want to squeak in there before we say goodbye?
I just wanted to thank you, Kelly. I just wanted to say how the principles have really helped me be really present, and my thinking process has really changed to I take more time reacting to things as well, and just being present and being in the moment. It's just been awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we go, first, I want to thank everybody for coming, for shining your lights. Secondly, I want to give a huge thank you to my friend Pamela, who's been with me thick and thin for the last 3 or 4 conversations as my moderator and my friend and my support. And so thank you, Pamela, for always being there early and showing up for me. And for all of you, the conversation with Philip and Nicholas next week, very excited about that. And I say, take a moment after we close this screen to just consider the messages you received, whether you do it tonight or you do it sometime tomorrow, but the message of your animal, your instrument, and your divine, inclusive of the obstacle, that's giving you a feeling of something, that's sharing something deeper than maybe you can see just in a small meditation for today. So I send you out with that and all the love that I have in my heart. And thank you so much for coming and celebrating this anniversary with me. And until next week, put some love on it. Bye for now.